Are we live? I don't know anymore. Yes, we are. We are live.
Yay.
We are. It's funny because it every time I try to pop it, it puts me to this and I can never know, but then it's got a little thing in the top that kind of shows it, but then when you click on it, oh, now it says it's recording. Okay. It was
Now
one of
we're
those things where I
recording.
first clicked on it and it did not say it was. So just want to make sure. Hey everybody, welcome to the MFG cast on YouTube. This is session 3 of Mask, our Core Cthulhu campaign. Last time on Mask, uh, Grant was trying to figure out how to paint. So that was going to take a little bit. We didn't go into that quite yet, but we might. I think we're going to in this session. Maxwell got a phone call by one of the Gonzalez brothers about coming and partying and basically threatening him to not tell anybody else. And then Ryan actually scoped out the compound of where a Mr. Damn it, what's his name? Neo Dixon's place. Trying to find out a little bit more about his compound and kind of what's around there. So I think we're gonna jump right into it. And I think we're gonna head into Grant. So so I've thought about this quite a bit.
Oh no, that's not good.
Yeah, I know. The more I think, the worse it is for you. Let's just say that. No, not really. Um, but I decided on this. So you are forging this painting of daisies.
Hmm.
You want obviously as a forger, you want to get this as close to the original as possible. Now, in doing that, you have to study this other picture, which you've already had not so great connection with. So I'm gonna give you a choice,
Okay.
and to me it seems like a very obvious choice. So I gave you the colors that you needed to use: the tawny brown, the seaweed green, the
Yep.
goldenrod yellow, the corn silk white, the blood moon red, and the obsidian black.
Yep.
Now, you can decide if you want to take those colors and make them as true to that painting as possible, but obviously that's going to come with
Yeah.
some trouble. Or you can feint and try to do as best as you can without doing a great job, and it might help your sanity. And I think I think as a character, and I'm not gonna try to put words into your mouth, but I think as a character, I think and as a painter, I think you probably sense that.
I'm I think Grant would he doesn't completely know what's going on, right? He just knows this is a bit weird.
Yeah.
But also this is how I make my money. Now, I may make
Hmm.
money on my cover, but this is where it really is. And the fact that he is an art guy, that's been his whole life. I don't think he would half-ass it, right? I think he would say, "Well, I got a job to do. I got to do it. It's no use me trying to get there or thereabouts. We go through all this danger and stuff to do the job. And the minute someone looks at it, they're like, yeah, this is fake." And that kind of thing. I think he would,
Hmm.
I guess
Yeah.
from professional, from a professional standpoint, he's like, yeah, I've got to do this. I can't finger paint it, right? It has to be what it is because that's what he's always done. I don't think he's ever gone in and said, "Oh yeah, that's good enough," because we're dealing with a thing where good enough really it doesn't cut it, right? There's whole industries around finding out if it's a real thing or not and verification. So I would say he's gonna go do his job and to the best of his ability.
Hmm.
Can, because I think we talked about this last time, can he mitigate that to some degree by painting around before he focuses, like block out where the daisies go, paint the background, paint the withered grass and the blood moon and all that stuff before
Yeah,
having to
because I think it
focus
was
in
Kurt.
on, yeah.
Because it was the when did you get cat food all over me? It is the looking directly at the daisies was what triggered it, right? It wasn't the whole painting's not very good, but it was I think the center of the daisies with with the swirls, right? That was the real issue, right?
Well, as far as what happened to you that before, yes.
Yeah. Okay, cool. So I think to John's point, I was thinking about that before. It's almost like a like doing sections, like gridding it, right? Which probably is kind of what they do a bit anyways. But yeah, it is that. Let me focus on all the other stuff. Let's get some story out of the way before I completely lose. Let's play with the character a bit. But yeah, that's what I was thinking is I was going to be focusing on all the other stuff around the edges first, and then we'll get into the crazy stuff when it gets a bit further down.
Okay. Okay. All right. Well, that will kind of adjust what I was thinking, but still will be kind of in the realm of things. So,
Okay.
um,
Yeah, I mean,
so
if we're playing a Cthulhu game, right?
yeah,
Going crazy is part of it, so I'm not gonna skimp on that. So
yeah, for sure. So if you're thinking of it that way, I will actually pivot, and it's okay because I actually came up with something else, so that's good. So, so what we'll do is we'll have you start with the Tawny Brown. I know this is again I'm kind of putting you in a direction, but like
that's fine.
again, it's just because of where I am as far as narratively being able to tell you certain things. I'd like you to
Uh-huh.
start there, but
Okay.
like what do you think your process is when you are mixing these colors and getting them to go on canvas?
I think he would be focused, right? He wouldn't be having, a TV on in the background. He may have some music on, but it'd be very low, right? He's gonna stay. You kind of have to stay focused, right? This isn't a job where you can like kind of multitask it kind of thing. So
Yeah.
he's not going to be having lots of other distractions and things like that. So he will have some kind of I guess it would be classical music, right? Nothing too nothing too
Yeah.
loud or just he's not going to be playing new metal or anything. It would just be that calming kind of music. So he would kind of have that on the background at a low level, and it would be you know the the main focus would be the easel with the canvas kind of obviously right in the middle, and it would be him focusing on that, and then around it would be either printouts and maybe some extra monitors of what he's trying to copy. So zoomed in stuff, zoomed in on the areas he's going to be working on. A whole bunch of printouts and displays of if it is the trees we're going to work on or the ground or the sky, in kind of plot area, almost like CAD, right? It's in like little separate areas. And he would, focus on what's a good one, almost like doing a puzzle piece, right? What's a good one to start with that then you can build out from that around that. So I think that's what he would be doing. He would be
Okay.
very focused in, zoned in, phone off, that kind of stuff. So he's not distracted.
He's got
What do you
he's
got, John?
got Wagner in the background. He's listening to Hitler speeches on the TV. He's getting in the zone.
All
Probably
right.
not. It would
So
probably be it probably a bit from not getting into the client or the target of the mark. I don't think he wants to go that far, but yeah, it would definitely be some class. Wagner might be a bit too much though. That might be too exciting, right? That might be.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah,
yeah.
I think he would
Keep
go
you well.
instrumental. It wouldn't be any kind of vocal. It would just be like instrumental classical, so not opera or stuff like that.
Yeah, for sure. So when we're thinking about painting, do we think is you know do you think that as like a grace thing? Do you think that it more of brains because you're using your technical brain to be able to make things how you want it? Like what stat do you think that is as far as the painting goes?
I can see you saying grace because you have to be, fine details and stuff like that. I wouldn't want to lean on that because that's not a stat I'm good at. But I could see a combination, right? I guess if you're good at something and you understand it inside and out, that could hopefully make up for some deficiencies in, something else. Like if you're a short basketball player, that's going to be held against you. But if you're really good and you study the game and, stuff like that, maybe overall your overall ability kind of outweighs the fact that you're a short guy or a slow
Yeah,
guy or
yeah.
stuff like that. But I definitely see, right? If I'm all brains and I have sausage fingers and I'm trying to paint, that ain't gonna help, right? So I think a combination of both of those would probably be good, depending on
Okay.
how you want to do that, right? If a brains then offsets a bit of the charm or vice versa, or I know this down pat, but I just stab my brush and do it in a bad roll, that kind of thing. So
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I want you to use whatever stat you feel is gonna work. So like for the Tawny Brown, this is actually going to be the grass. So that like that takes up a lot of the painting. So
right.
like, it's a lot of the background because mostly what you see is, a lot of brown there. So like that would be, a lot of probably precision on your part, probably.
Yeah, so I mean, because obviously the forger we put as a part of the brains, right? I don't know if we can have a separate discussion side issue further on. But does the forgery part maybe deserve to be in charm, right? Because that's the actual physical part of it. But if we stick with what we have now, maybe a lot of the focus would be on the brains part of it. But if you're saying this part of it takes up quite a bit of time, maybe after a certain amount of rolls or a certain amount of time, let's throw a charm in there because you've been going at it for a while. You may understand it and visualize what you're going to do because you understand art history and what you're trying to convey and things like that. Um, but after a certain amount of time, let's throw in a charm because your hands are cramping and you've been doing this for kind of a while.
Okay. Perfect. Yeah, so why don't you roll me that check then with we're gonna set the difficulty level, or what are we calling that in Corfu?
DL,
Is
yeah,
it
it's
is
difficulty
it DL?
level.
Okay, cool. Sorry, I'll be asking questions all the time because I'm just thinking about so many things at one time. I'm like, okay, let me make sure I ask the question.
That's why we're doing this, so we can get all those
Yes.
wrinkles out of it.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. So we're gonna have a DL of 5.
Yeah, I don't feel like there's any sense in reinventing the wheel to come up with a name that's more thematic to,
Mm-hmm.
it is what it is.
Yeah, 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 exactly.
And that is a 6.
All right,
Nice.
perfect.
Three,
So
four, five,
that it
6. I got it straight. I'm rolling straight.
nice. So that's considered what, John? Okay,
A
again,
success,
ask the
straight
questions.
success.
Success,
Succeed by
straight
one
success. Yeah,
is,
because you
yep,
got succeed by 1. Yep.
Yep.
Okay, and then if you get it right on, it's a yes, but
yes,
correct.
but, yep.
Okay, cool. All right, we're getting into the swing of things here. We got all figured out here. Um, so yeah, so like the the music kind of gets your head kind of in a zone. You kind of lightly take your brush and you start to kind of uh, lightly whisk into the tawny brown. You get a little bit of maybe a little bit of water on it to kind of maybe like loosen it up, and it's not as dark because it's like the tawny brown is not super dark, and you start kind of painting away, and it's almost like you are watching a movie or you're reading a book. And as you're reading that book, the words kind of come to life. Where in this one, you're looking at this tall brown, almost kind of almost sickly grass because obviously like grass is supposed to be green, it's supposed to be vibrant, but this is kind of like brown and kind of like disgusting. It's almost reminds you of mud. It almost reminds you of like um sickly. Like it's something that you just normally don't see. And within these strands of this grass, you picture thousands of screaming faces, bodies twisted into unnatural contortions. Boy, that's a word I shouldn't have wrote. I should have done something else. Um, with like, uh, body parts in, like I said, unnatural positions where like, your arm, like wrist are completely turned where they're not supposed to be. Knees are completely turned out where they should be in. Um, Bodies discombobulated. There's another big word. Why did I throw all these big words in here?
I'm
Uh,
not typing that.
I know, right? Look that up. I don't even think I wrote that right. Such as they look like the parts are like pieces of a puzzle that were forced back into each other. So like when you're like taking this puzzle and you're trying to put everything like you take this painting and you made it into a puzzle and then you just put all the puzzle pieces out and you're like and there's like a child that just takes it and just smashes it into one because oh that looks right. Or it takes two corner pieces and smacks them together and like that looks good. Oh, perfect. Um it almost looks like, because you've been a forger for so long, it almost looks like one of those abstract paintings where um, someone takes the likeness of a person and makes them into this kind of like weird looking thing. But these are real people. And it's one of those things that for some reason it should haunt you, it should like disturb you, but for some reason because you are fully involved in just making this piece, you almost feel like you're just daydreaming.
He's in the zone, right? He's got the almost like the Jewelers thing, right? Where you flip down and it's the little squares in front of your eyes zoomed in
Yeah.
and he's doing what he's doing, right? He's doing what he's good at. So he sees a whole bunch of horrible shit around, right? But this is part of the job and this is what I have to do. And there's part of it registering like, yeah, this is kind of really screwed up and yeah, that face doesn't look very happy, and all those parts look like they've been forced in wrong. But he's doing, he's done this a lot of times, right? Obviously not with something like this, but he's the conveyor belt's going. He's clicking back to what he needs to do to get the job done. Almost like if you were building something, you would just go, okay, well, this, then this, then this, then this. This is what I do. Um, but he will, you know, I'm trying to think. So he will take a break, right? Because he understands the limits of your eyes and your hands and stuff like that. And let's say there's like almost like a sealed off area because this is he does his work back at his place, not at his workshop where his other proper work is. So there's almost like there's almost like a clean room, right? Because he's like, look, I need a smoke, but obviously I can't smoke out here while I'm painting. So now he'll take a break every once in a while, go into this almost like sealed off area, maybe like next to the bathroom. It's almost like it looks like an Apple store, right? It's all glass and goes in, has a smoke and does all that and then comes back out. So he will take some breaks to kind of because you have to just for how intensely he's doing this. And hopefully he's not dwelling too much whenever he's not staring at all of the horrible distorted faces and bodies, he's not thinking about it. He only thinks about it when he's actually at the easel painting. So he'll try to take a break every once in a while, grab some coffee, grab a smoke, cleanse himself again, grab some wet wipes, wipe everything off, spray some Febreze around, and then go back and to do the painting again. But yeah, as you
Yeah.
said, it's affecting him, but he's really not processing it as a part of his daily life. Like it's just like, okay, this is the shit I'm seeing, and it's really screwed up. And I'm sure I'll think about it later, but I've got to get this done first, and then I'll process it, at another time.
Yeah, yeah. Well, say even as you go to take your break, you like start to walk and then you like mindlessly kind of like massage your elbow, and you're kind of like,
because it's not
oh,
bent the
it's
right
just,
way.
yeah, you're just kind of like, you're kind of like, oh man, I must have really been like sitting weird or painting, I must have been doing it for, longer than I would, normally do before I take a break, and then like you kind of walk a little bit and you kind of like feel your knee a little bit. And you're kind of like, oh man, I'm really, really feeling it today, even though you're not that old. It's just all of a sudden just you have those pains.
Doing some stretches, doing some, range of motion stuff, bending over, touching
Hmm.
my toes, spinning my rotator cuff around, bending my leg. Yeah. So that makes sense, right? Because, yeah, that's that. Okay. There was some really weird stuff that didn't look right. Yeah. How would that feel if that was on me? And then it's just like bleeding in, like, ooh, my fingers. They seem to be all right, and cracking them and stretching them out and things like that, which you
Yeah.
probably shouldn't do. You shouldn't crack your fingers, right? 'Cause it's supposed to make it worse. But he's
It
flexing
doesn't
and
make a
moving
difference.
around. Yeah.
Yeah. It's funny because I've heard 8 million things. It's like eggs. Eggs are good. Eggs are bad. Eggs are good. Like, which is it? Come on. That's funny. Okay. We'll take a break from Grant and we'll focus on Ryan. So, Ryan, you are kind of, let's just say, like, you are still kind of like drawing up a map or you're looking at, preparing yourself for showing everybody what you found and the little nuances of the place and stuff like that, and you get a phone call from Mac.
Okay. I feel if I see on the table my shitty little flip phone vibrating.
Nice.
I'll turn off the radio and I'll answer the phone.
Nice. Does does Mac have a nickname for you, or does he just call you Ryan?
My call sign was Anthem, so he probably
Okay.
calls me that.
Okay, sounds good. Yeah, so you pick up the phone and he's like, Anthem, you there, good buddy?
Hey, what's going on?
Uh, you know, I was thinking the other day, and when you hear that he says he was thinking the other day, you remember that back when you had your accident that got you your discharge, that Mac was also in that vehicle with you
Hmm.
when you had that IED go off. And when it happened, it went off on your side, and you didn't get as much shrapnel and stuff like that as maybe you could have. But Mac got probably worse of the deal because he smacked his head into the side of the window of the vehicle. And ever since then, he's kind of lost some of his memory.
Mm,
So when he says, I was thinking the other day, a lot of times it's he's forgetting something.
right, yeah.
And so he's calling you to remember. And he's like, so, I've been thinking, and I don't, it just keeps replaying in my mind. Like, I feel like I'm missing something from that day. And he doesn't even have to tell you what that means. Like, you know exactly what that means. He's like, do you think that we could meet like at like uh, Donald's Bagels? Do you think we can meet at Donald's Bagels and like, can I just like talk to you about it? Like, can you just like help me to remember some of these things that I've been missing?
Yeah, no worries. You need me to pick you up or you got your own thing?
And he says, yeah, actually, if you don't mind, like, I mean, again, like, I don't live that far. I could probably walk, but like, it'd be kind of nice to, ride again. And like that's a big thing. Like that ever since he's come back, like even riding in a car, like you can tell he just has PTSD from it. Like he doesn't, he fidgets a lot. Like he rolls down the window. Sometimes he'll
Mhm.
hyperventilate. Like he tends to walk a lot of different places,
Yeah.
and just like that's kind of his thing. So
Yeah, so it's yeah, 10-4. I got you. I'll give me about 15. I'll be there.
all right, and he hangs up with you.
Yeah, so when I go, I'll actually so I'm gonna take the CJ and I'll actually make sure that I have the top off and doors off and everything like that, so it's as open air as possible before I come over and grab them.
Yeah, and he's actually like waiting outside and uh just kind of just pacing a little bit, looking at his feet. He's not really looking around. And then as soon as you pull up, he sees that the windows are down, and he like you can kind of see like he takes kind of like this like almost like a like he's been practicing his breathing. He just kind of breathes in really hard, really big, and then breathes out through his nose, and then he hesitates at the door, but then he pops it open and jumps on in.
Hmm. All right, and yeah, I'll kind of just like give him more of a nod and literally just get in drive.
Yeah, yeah, sounds good. Yeah, so like he's wanting to talk to you about this really personal thing between you two or whatever, but he also kind of matches your silence in the car. He um is surprisingly not as fidgety as he usually is. He
Hmm.
kind of looks out of the side of the window and just kind of squints. Like you can tell he's like trying to search for something, and you can't tell if he's found it or not. And he kind of looks at you a little bit. And you don't look because you're just driving and just kind of
Hmm.
giving him his space or whatever. And he looks at you for a little bit, and then he looks up and he just kind of looks around or whatever, and like nothing really comes of it. And you just kind of drive in silence until you get there.
Yeah. Yeah, so when we get there, same, just shut it down, like park it, turn it off, jump out and walk in, just expecting that he's going to be there, right?
Hmm.
He's just going to follow and I'll go take a seat at a table.
Okay. All right. So yeah, so like you guys have kind of done this before. Like you get out, he waits there for a moment, kind of collects himself. He gets out, you will lock the door. Um and then yeah, you'll go get a seat. He'll go grab bagels. He kind of gets what you guys regularly would get, gets a couple cups of coffee or whatever and sits down with you. And he is like he's like, "Yeah, I feel like," and he doesn't even like say hi. He doesn't thank you for the ride. Like he just like you guys have been friends forever. So like obviously like it's not one of those things where, the normalcies of oh, thank you for the ride. How have you been? That kind of thing happen. You just kind of go into your normal routines.
Hmm.
And Mac just kind of is like, lately I've been thinking like there are I know there are holes in what happened. And he's like, but I just like I can't fill those holes. And he's like, I just like I can you just like help me out? He's like, I know we've gone through this quite a bit. And he's like, I know you've gone to your groups, and you've talked about it and stuff like that. I've gone to my sessions and stuff like that. But like, can you just tell me again like what happened? And I think what I want to do is I want to use core as it's meant to be with having our character development scene.
Yeah.
So I think that, I'm gonna let you kind of drive what happened, how the story kind of unfolds, and I'll just kind of add a couple of things, but I'll kind of let you have the reins on it.
Yeah. Yeah. So I'll start off by telling them it's like, listen, Mac, it's what happens when you have too much dwell time. All right. You gotta stay active. Gotta keep moving. All right. But yeah, what you need, we'll do it.
And he kind of like laughs, and he's like, believe me, I've been active, like, but this, and he points at his head, he's like, is always active and yet constantly shorting out on me. So he's
All
like,
right, let's work it then.
yeah. So he's like, tell me how, tell me what you were running and how everything unfolded.
I mean, so the the entire thing was just supposed to be a regular there and back. Right? It's basic checkup, basic sweep. We weren't even on special deployment at that moment. It was literally just go to checkpoint A, B, C, D, turn around, head back and rest up. It should have been an easy few hours that uh turned into basically, you know, fucking foobar, right? Like everything just went sideways at that point.
And he kind of like stops you in between that or whatever, and he says he's like, like, something is like stuck, and he's like, I'm remembering, like, we were driving,
Mm-hmm.
and I remember we had the radio on loud, and Alice in Chains Rooster was on, and it was perfect. And I remember we were writing and talking, and again, it was just, everything was very routine and good, and then my brain stops, and then we're upside down, and it's like a slow motion thing where the supplies and things that we're running are like almost like floating in midair, almost like it's like they're like falling through molasses or whatever. And I'm seeing all these things, and then I think I remember like a a wooden box, and I'm like, I don't remember that box being part of the manifest. And I'm wondering
Well,
why is that in my head?
I mean, weird shit catches your eye, right? Like, who knows what was in that Humvee before us? It could have been that one of the guys grabbed a box of cigars, right? Like, could have fucking had hash on them. Like, who the hell knows, right? People used to stash shit in there all the time so that the CO wouldn't catch them.
Okay. I want you to roll me a brains roll, please.
I have
We're gonna
a
keep
little bit of that.
nice. I have a little bit of that too. Not much else. We're gonna make that a DL5 as well.
Well, that was a 3, unless I'm able to add like tactics or anything to it.
Well, let's see. You are pretty good at details. So I would think that you could add that to this.
All right. Well, in that case, that makes it a 4.
Okay. So that is a
No, but
No
no
buts.
but. Okay. So you do not, oh, this is perfect actually. So you do not remember the box at all. So you have this thing in your head where again, I love the movie trope, so I'm just gonna keep doing it. So it's like you have this thing where it's almost like a rewinding of a VCR tape, and then yeah, what's a VCR tape? Look it up, kids. It rewinding a VCR tape and then playing it at a certain spot. And
Mhm.
so like, he says a wooden box, and you're like, wooden box. And you're like, I don't remember that. So then your mind rewinds to this part where you're seeing everything that's all these like MREs and weapons and different things that are falling. And then there's this like fuzzy spot where you're like, okay, this wasn't here when I remembered it.
Hmm.
But then you see something that falls out of it, and it's a very long and skinny. It's about, I would say, about 6 or 7 inch long obsidian crystal that falls. And as your Jeep turns over on its top, and you both of you slide, you are still present, but as soon as the obsidian hits the top of the car, it makes a noise that like rings your ears, it rings your head, and you hear a bunch of like sucking noises that are intense, like you've never heard before. And it feels like it's in your brain, and it's like attached to your brain, and it's like trying to suck whatever is in there, whether it's pain, whether it's happiness, whether it's um like anything that's just kind of manifesting in your brain. It feels like it's trying to suck it out. And everything is so intense that it makes you pass out.
Hmm.
Not physically now, back
Mhm.
then.
Yeah. And yeah, so he'll kind of like give his head a little shake. Uh the like I mean, yeah, I mean I kind of remember it being there, but I mean it's the box, right? Look, someone had some shit in it. It probably was, they probably traded some weird, you know, gave some cash for you know a rock for their girlfriend at home or something, right? Like,
It
what?
it
Why is
it
this
wasn't.
bothering you so much?
And he's like, you look, and he has a crayon from like the table that the kids would use, and he's got a napkin, and he's drawing a symbol over and over again as you're telling him about what's happening. And it looks like an upside down triangle within a right-sided triangle with an eye in the middle of it.
Hmm.
So I made it really small on here, which I should have made it bigger. I didn't think about it. When you write stuff in your journal, you should think you should just, make it a little bit, bigger than it actually is. But let's see if you can actually see what that looks like.
Yep.
Yep.
Okay. And he looks down, and he like pushes it away, and he's like, what just happened? What is that?
I'll look at him and goes, Mac, you square?
And he like looks at you, and he's like, is this a joke? What is this?
I wanna see if I can get a read on him if he's because like I know every once in a while he'll not necessarily reset, right? But like that short-term memory will 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 clear, right? His cache will clear essentially. And
Mhm.
it's one of those almost that thing of like, oh, what the fuck am I doing again?
Yeah,
Type
yeah, yeah,
thing,
yeah, for sure.
right? Is
So, do you
that
think that's
this something different?
yeah, yeah? Why don't you roll me? I would think that would be a psyche check. Do you think?
Yeah, it makes sense. Yeah.
Okay, let's roll that.
Ooh, 6.
Nice. Okay, so I didn't even give you the DL, but that was gonna be a 4.
All right, well there you go.
Yeah, yeah. So that's a yes. That's a yes and.
Sweet.
Yeah. So you, when you see what's happening, like it, when he's drawing these symbols, like he does not like realize he's doing it.
Mm-hmm.
It's almost like when someone's watching TV or reading a book and they're like twirling their hair and they don't realize
Mm-hmm.
they're doing it. Like that's what he's doing. Like
Yep.
he's listening to your story and he's just doing it and doing it and
Yeah.
doing it. And then as
So
soon
I
as
almost
he
imagine like it was like me saying like Mac, you square? Mac.
Mhm.
Mac. And that's like what kind of
Yeah,
like woke him up almost.
snaps him out of it. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah, for sure. And like you even notice like he's even like sweating. Like he's like ran or something and he's like he hasn't done anything but just sit there and draw this
Mm.
symbol.
So yeah, at that point I'll reach over and I'll actually like grab the napkin and like just kind of ball it up and put it in my pocket. I'm like, yeah, it's a fucking joke, dude. Like, yeah, I, some kid must have just drawn this, right? Don't worry. And I'll look up at that point and I'll kind of like, wave to the person behind the counter and I'll be like, Matt, I'll be right back. I'm gonna go. You want coffee?
And he looks at you or whatever and he's kind of like yeah, yeah, coffee and he like goes like this and he's like sees how much sweat he has on him and he's like
Maybe
yeah, he's like
iced coffee.
yeah, yeah, you know what and he's like kind of pats the table and he says I'm just gonna go out for a quick smoke and then I'll be back and like before you even like say anything he's already up and out.
All right. Yeah.
All
So
right.
I'll get us a couple of iced coffees, a water, and a couple of toasted everything bagels.
Nice, nice, nice. All right. So we'll take a break from Ryan and we'll go to Maxwell. So usually when we role play, it's usually like today's a Monday, the next day's a Tuesday. Like this is not how this is gonna go right now. So we're good. So this last session, towards the end, you had been called by one of the Gonzalez brothers, and they had basically told you how much money to bring, not to tell anybody unless you like your fingers and toes where they're at. Um,
So I'm
and
I'm
you,
going solo. This isn't like bring your party like we're gonna have a good time. It's like you are coming.
well, no, they wanted you to bring as many people as you wanted to,
Okay.
but basically it was if you're gonna do this, this is where it is, this is where it stays,
Yeah,
and then
yeah, got it.
afterwards
Okay.
you forget what's happening, kind of
Yep,
thing.
yep, yep, yep.
Yep. So, how do you react to that? Like, okay, so we're gonna say this is like a couple of days later, but like, do you think about like, are you gonna do this? Are you gonna bring all this money? Like, do you need to bring backup? Like, what's your thought process after all that?
How much money was it? Did he say? I don't remember.
I think he said like a grand, I think.
Okay. I mean, I can reasonably do that.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
I mean, I assume that I would have talked to the guys before that. and said like, hey,
Okay.
we've got a way in sort of thing. Do we want to take
Yeah.
that? And we would have had that
Yeah.
discussion.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so if that's sort of the case, right? I mean, I would have taken anything that, especially anything Ryan would have said to heart, right? I mean, this is kind of more his
Yeah.
department. Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, I mean, he would, kind of be thinking in the back of his mind, like, all right, well, I gave him a fake name. Like, do I need to like create, some sort of persona? Like, who am I? What am I doing? Like, he wears like tailored clothes and all that stuff. So he's like, well, I don't know, like, do I need to buy like a different outfit? Do I want to, should I go like down low, right? Because these are, a bunch of fucking scumbags. Should I go like fucking tracksuit? Or, should I maintain like the upper, level like player, like, go in a different tailor, like not my own clothes, but like go and buy something specifically to
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
go and do this, right? Um, uh, and just try to, he's just thinking about like how to maintain that separation because
Mm-hmm.
like he's not he's not famous, but also like he's well known in like society circles, right? Because he owns a gallery, so like he sells expensive art to people who can afford it.
Yeah.
So he's not like unknown, I guess at least maybe in his area and by extension those groups. I don't imagine that the Nazi guy with the painting probably probably knows me.
Yeah.
So my thought is that probably he'd be under the radar. But like
Okay.
maybe he doesn't shave for a couple, like it was like 4 or 5 days, right? So like he stops shaving for a couple days, right? He doesn't want to try to alter his appearance
Yeah.
to some degree. Like maybe he had an appointment scheduled to get his hair cut, so he like lets pushes that off for like another week, kind
Mm-hmm.
of thing. Not like fully coiffed, right? So you're going in a little, uh, not grungy, but a little unkempt, maybe.
Yeah. 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 For
So like
sure.
he's trying to like parse all that stuff out, and then um, I don't have my bond in front of me. But having that conversation like, hey, I'm gonna have to, go away for, like 2 days to go and look into an acquisition for the for the gallery. Not sure how it's gonna
Samantha.
be.
I think you
Samantha,
said
thank
your
you.
bond is your partner, Samantha.
Samantha, okay. Yeah, that sounds right.
Yep. Yep.
The rest of my notes are on the floor.
Nice. Nice. Yeah. So like, yeah, so you're kind of trying to get yourself quote unquote into character basically.
Yeah,
And
because he had a little bit of a faux pas on the phone because it's been a while since like he's had to do street level, right? Like he's in a whole different.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
God, I
Because
fucked that
you're
up.
kind of yeah, you're kind of like you've not had things and now you've had things. So like you've kind of lost touch with that other side of yourself.
hmm
And like you still, are, you know, having people come to your establishment and look through things and stuff like that. And, as you're preparing for, this eventuality or whatever, impossibly you see two men walk through your doors.
Okay. At the gallery.
Yes, correct.
Okay.
While you are working.
Yeah,
And
I mean, I guess he probably, sweeps up to the front, like if he's not sitting at his desk, like in the back or whatever, be like, "Oh, good afternoon, gentlemen. How are you? How are you doing today? Anything in particular I could interest you in? We've got a wide selection. We have a new artist here, one of the locals here, street art, but like he just goes into a whole spiel about, what's going on in the
yeah,
in the
yeah,
gallery.
in the gallery. Yeah, yeah. And you see a couple of different, or you see two different fellows that look very similar in in features in some way and not in others. Um, One of them is completely bald. Um, looks very weathered, like they've been through a lot of different things. This person has like almost like singed eyebrows to where there's only a little bit left towards the middle of the face. Beady eyes and a pointy nose, a very mischievous grin with a very prominent scar across of the
Yeah,
Gonzalez brothers.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yep. The other brother, um, very bushy, um, curly black hair, calculated and soft eyes, very ridiculously bulbous nose,
Hmm.
and then an indifferent look on his face with a long cross earring in his right ear and a cross necklace on his person. And he looks like he's not seen as much as his brother. And um, I don't remember if I ever named them their names. Oh, I did. I did. I have it here. I have it is Manny and Mateo. And the one known as Manny with the weathered look says, "Oh no, uh, I just wanted to see what all the fuss was about." He, and
Uh,
he's like, we've talked on the phone, you and I, and you like recognize his voice as the voice from the other night.
oh, yeah. Oh, yes. Sorry, I didn't know who to expect. I didn't expect that you would be here. Um, yeah, take a look around. I don't know if there's anything you like. We're running a sale right now.
And he like, and he kind of giggles, and he like, you realize in his right hand he has an X-Acto knife, and he's like twirling it in between his two fingers, kind of like when someone takes a pencil. I can't do it, but like when they're like
Yeah,
kind of
yeah,
go in between their forefinger and their middle finger or whatever. And he's like, ah, yeah, sure. I'm not much of a fan of the arts. My brother here, he's more distinguished than I am. I don't know. I'm kind of what you would consider to be a troubled youth in my day. I've kind of seen it all, been through it all, the kid that always wanted that everyone always wanted to bully until I could show them who's boss. And he kind of like takes that X-Acto knife and like finds one of Grant's forged paintings, and he takes that X-Acto knife and like looks at his brother, and his brother like shakes his head yes, and he like slashes through it.
Hey, whoa, whoa, whoa! What's going on here?
Well, I just my brother here, he again, like I said, he's more of a fan of the arts than I am, and I just when I go into places like this, I don't really know what's what, I don't have a good eye for it, and he tells me that that's that's not real. It's a fake. It's it's like if I were to tell you I'm a very nice person, and he like flashes you a very evil smile, and you can tell he's got a couple of like silver teeth in between, here and there and kind of everywhere, wherever. And he is kind of like, I'm kind of a person that I likes, I like realism, I really like to know like what makes people tick, I don't like people being fake, as they would say, that's just not my thing.
Oh, agreed. In my business, I'd like to, establish a good rapport. Keep everything on the up and up. I mean, I I paid a pretty penny for that. Tell me it's not real. I might be slipping a little bit.
Yeah, I think you might want to have a conversation with your artist. And he like he takes his X-Acto knife and he kind of like hits it on his lip and he kind of points it at you and he says, "You know, you do not go by the name you gave me. That is
Wow.
that's another thing that's fake. It's very interesting."
Well, I mean, I got a call. I want to make sure to protect my identity. I have a, certain, reputation to uphold, and I get up to a little bit of mischief every once in a while. I just got to make sure that everything's copacetic.
Okay. Okay, I understand that. I understand. You got to know who you're working with, that kind of thing. And he goes by a like a vase and he like looks at it and he kind of like shakes his head and he's kind of like yeah, you can tell he's like into it or whatever. He looks at his brother and his brother shakes his head yes. And he like a cat, he like takes his finger and just pushes it until it falls.
If I'm close enough, I try to grab it.
Okay.
Because
All
that's
right.
a real
Well,
one. He knows the grab one's fake. The vase is real now.
all right, roll me a grace. And
All
we'll have
right.
the DLB 4.
I got 3 in that. Well, I got a 4. It's a yes, but.
Nice, nice. We'll say that you catch it, but one of your fingernails scratches the bottom of it, and it's obvious.
Okay. I was just say, what if I'm well, you get the butts. I was just say, what if like now I'm on the floor and they're standing over me.
Oh, hey, you know
Like,
what? I like it.
Yeah, it's money. Money's involved. Don't be messing up John's money, right?
well, it's not only that, right? Like it's a change in the power dynamic, right? Like I'm in
Mhm.
my suit, I'm in my store, and now like I'm on the floor
Mhm.
cradling this vase to my
Yeah, yeah,
chest.
yeah. Yeah, so like um uh Mateo, the other brother, wordlessly uh picks you up by your
Under my
lapel
arms.
basically. Yeah, yeah. Like and he's surprisingly strong. He like lifts you very easily and then just kind of like pats your shoulders like he's this like drying you off or whatever and he like uh kind of gives you like one of those like kind of things with his fist or whatever and then he backs up and says nothing.
Look, I mean, if you guys don't want to party, I mean, that's fine. This seems a little excessive. Yeah, I just I've recommended, thought it'd be a good time, but if that's not the case, then, that's fine by me. I don't want to come in and bust the place up. I got all my money tied up in here.
Yeah, so he's like, "Oh, no, 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 no." He's like, man, he's like, "No, don't mistake my aggressiveness for pushing you away. Like, I want to have you with us. Our party is gonna be fantastic." And then, as quick as he can go, is like up by your neck with this X-Acto knife in between you still have that vase, and like he even like goes in between the vase in your neck. And he doesn't press it on you, but it's very close. And he says, "I just want to make sure that we have an understanding that if anything else were to be fake, I wouldn't be very happy with that."
I get your point.
And he looks at his X-Acto knife and he says, "I hope you do." And then he slowly backs up and he pats his brother on the shoulder and he says, "You know what, Mateo? I've really enjoyed our time here. You know what? And I might come back again eventually, but you know what? I think maybe we'll bid adieu to Mr. Banks until we see him next."
I think he waits for them to like, take a step back or like turn, and he's like, "Au revoir, gentlemen." And he just kind of, stood and kind of like he's looking at them, but kind of like puts the vase on the pediment that he's still kind of standing next to,
Yeah,
Like he
yeah,
doesn't make any move. He doesn't like check his neck. He just kind of like he's just kind of holding himself still.
yeah, yeah,
Uh, and nobody's in the store, right? It's probably like the middle of the fucking day or whatever. So it's not like super
yeah,
busy
yeah,
or anything.
yeah.
So he's just kind of like, are we done? He's
Yeah,
just
yeah,
waiting to see what's gonna happen.
yeah. Yeah, exactly. So they both turn and start walking out. And as they're both starting to walk out, Mateo catches something out of the corner of his eye. And one of your local artists has done a replica of Hieronymus Bosch's Fall of the Damned into Hell. And Mateo kind of like gets very close to it and kind of looks up and down. And then he kind of looks to you and he says, "That one's very nice." And he like turns around and walks with his brother out of your establishment.
He waits like 2 or 3 minutes, right? It's a lot of glass in the front. So he waits for them to like exit the field of view. He waits another minute. He kind of like, brushes himself off. He takes a couple steps towards the door, clicks the lock, flips the close sign,
Nice.
goes back to his office, pulls out a fucking bottle of whiskey, pours himself a shot, and then like thinks again and like doubles it, shoots it back real quick. Like, fuck. He, I think he probably picks up the phone and dials Grant because I don't
Okay.
know, like we have an existing relationship, so I think he would call him first.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Makes sense.
Yeah, and be like, yo, Grant, how's that painting coming, buddy?
So let's say that Grant's in one of his breaks, right? And then so he's taking a bit of an extended break, so he's flipped his phone back on. So how is the painting going, Kurt? I mean, if we're talking from a vibe standpoint, it seems like it's moving ahead, right? So Grant will say,
Hmm.
"I'm making some good progress. Everything's going good. Getting into the zone, going with the flow." Um, yeah, so I think because we did set a timeline for when it was needed, right? It was a couple days. Um, yeah, everything's looking good.
Well, I mean,
Um,
we got a fucking problem here. I hate to interrupt your fucking gushiness there. I know you're pretty good, but those fucking those two brothers, the guys over there, the fucking security guys, they were just in a fucking store. They slashed up one of your paintings, said it was a fake, and you know, just about fucking slit my throat. Leaning on the fucking heavy.
so obviously these guys just aren't security guys who like to throw
Well,
parties. If they're not no, not to toot my own horn or anything, but if they're able to suss that out, then
well, the
either
younger guy, supposedly he's a bit of an art critic, let's say. Uh, his older it looked like his older brothers, more the. I mean, not that Mateo wasn't a healthy, strapping young lad, picked me right up off the fucking floor. Uh, I I don't know what we're going to be getting into when we get down there. I told him, I said, look, man, if you don't want to party, we won't party. But uh, they're up here sending some kind of fucking message. I don't know. You don't think Coy's double dealing, do you?
I would think right. This is more background investigation. I would think they would be doing just to make a bit of money, right, for an event planner.
I mean, I guess I gave him a fake
But
name. They were pretty pissed about that too.
yeah, so I'm guessing they probably plugged into who they work for, right? So I think maybe they're double dipping on knowledge sharing, right? So if they're running that business that they do, they're going to want to double check to make sure they're not going to get, there's not FBI setting them up for anything. So I'm not surprised they did check. I'm a bit surprised at how well the check came back. That kind of spooks me a bit. But um, if they're still fine with taking your money and putting on a show, then that gets us halfway there, right? That's what we were worried about. That's what we wanted to get done. I guess we'll just have to be extra careful. Make sure Ryan's locked and loaded when it happens. I mean, from my standpoint, from Kevin's standpoint, right? We may not think we're down in the gutter, right? But we do probably deal with some pretty scummy people and some pretty shitty situations. So
Yeah. Yeah.
it's like, okay, well, it's not unexpected that something like this would happen. I think, from my standpoint, the fact that they're that plugged in is a bit shocking, but who they work with and work for, I guess it shouldn't be surprising, right?
I guess not.
So,
Probably not. Yeah.
yeah, exactly. So, if I'm running a side hustle and I've got a big, powerful person that I'm working with, if I can get some info out of that side, from that dude that helped me on my side hustle, I would do it. So, it's not surprising. I think Grant's pissed that they found him out that easily, but maybe that's something to worry about afterwards. If we get a big enough score, maybe I start looking for different locations or a different line of work. But yeah,
Well,
I
well, I mean, what do you I mean, I figured like, we'd fucking, we go in, party, everybody passes out, we fucking swap the painting. Maybe we play this one straight. Maybe we go in, we get a layout, and then we come back. I mean, I don't know that that changes the dynamic. If we're the last ones in, maybe we gotta wait another. I mean, what is that fucker? He's gone for like 2 weeks. So maybe that gives us another week after. I don't know. You think that's enough of a time frame to like, me a couple of this thing or what?
well, I think that the big the time frame is how long he's away. The other time frame obviously is me to get this work done. If we get the work done, we can go in with two plans, right? We can talk to Ryan, see what he thinks, but I think we go in with a plan where we either make the switch on the first time or be prepared to make the switch on the first time. But if we want to play it a bit cooler and we can see that we can get another turnaround and party again a few days later, he said to get a lay of the land, maybe. So maybe it's not like it's a bunch of extra work or anything to plan a second time, other than just some money to pay them to have another party, right?
I know I'm not even talking about going back for another party. I'm just kidding, is there plausible deniability if the painting goes missing a week later? What if we sneak in the next time? You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
I don't want to be anywhere around when that thing fucking goes. I mean, they know where I work at, so they probably know where I fucking live
I
at
see.
too. They probably know where you fucking live now.
Hey, Grant takes a deep breath and goes, "Well, if they found out, either they were guessing or they knew. So it's a 50-50 shot that they have really good intel or they had a bit of intel and made a educated guess. But
Well, they told me my painter, so I'm assuming they got tag on you. Now Ryan might be our wild card then, since he just came into the fold. We might have that as an advantage.
yeah,
Um,
I don't think it changes anything other than maybe being a bit more security conscious going in. But I think, to your point of, they know about us, they know where we're at. So I think it's just going to be a matter of the timing. Maybe that's something we can discuss with Ryan and maybe even Coy, what they think about doing a switcheroo then or coming back after and not being around them when we do it. So I think maybe we see what everybody's vibe is on that.
yeah, I mean, I got into a bit of trouble when I was younger, but I mean, aside from our little thing that we got going on here, I play things pretty straight. So,
If
and
they
I had
dug up a
scrap in
paper
a long
trail, then they were
time.
digging then.
Yeah.
But as I said, who we're dealing with, it's not surprising. Maybe we should have thought about that a bit maybe beforehand, but I don't think it really changes the dynamic that much.
Yeah, I mean, I trust Ryan can take care of himself and you're a pretty big guy, but I'm the one with the silver tongue. And I don't think they're gonna let me talk my way
Yeah,
out of this one.
yeah, I don't think charisma is going to be what we're going for in this round. But yeah, we'll make sure that it, it we've done jobs before. We've covered ourselves. We made sure we had everything covered, and Ryan seems like the type that he'll be able to pick out the stuff maybe that we would miss in these situations. So I'm still good. This is going to be a big score, and just for the fact that who the mark is makes it even sweeter. So it's not changing my mind at all. But yeah, definitely being a bit more careful.
All right. Well, if you're not packing, you might want to think about it. He pulls the drawer open. There's a fucking Glock 45 sitting in the upper drawer.
Yeah,
Closes it again.
Oh, it's
yeah,
cute.
yeah. My assumption would be that yeah, we're all. I don't think maybe I wrote down exactly what I have, but yeah,
Oh, I
I'm
did.
sure we all. Yeah, yeah. Well, yeah, that's a given. Um, but yeah, I'm assuming we all have some pieces lying around.
Yeah, yeah.
I'll do some investigation to see what what Grant would be having.
All right. Well, keep up the good work. I guess we'll circle back around with Ryan, and yeah, we'll figure out what's up.
Yeah, everything's moving along here. Let me go head back and crack on with it, but so far so good.
All right. I'll talk to you.
All
I think he
right.
pours himself another like regular shot. And then
Nice.
and it's like in his coffee mug. So he takes that, he walks back out, flips the sign back over, unlocks the door, checks the time. Uh the yeah.
Nice. Perfect. All right. Well, we will zoom back over to Grant. So Grant, we're gonna say that I had something written for every single color, but I thought, you know what, that's probably gonna take all night. So let's get a little fast forwarding a little bit here. So
Okay.
you do your seaweed green, your goldenrod yellow, your corn silk white without any kind of uh, anything happening. Nothing. Your mind just
Just
kind of
any
still focuses
disruption.
on the.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. You're really like maybe it's one of those things that after the phone call with Maxwell, like you're like really focused and getting this
Yeah.
done at the
That
best of
makes
your
sense.
ability, and but also, again, you kind of have that thing back in the back of your head where you're like, these other things I can still do a great job, but I'm not gonna be focusing as much as I did and, have that little problem that I had. Um, so you start to mix uh, the Blood Moon Red that you're gonna use as your sun, actually, in this um, painting.
Hmm.
So I want you to roll. You said last time, what did we end up rolling then for that?
We rolled brains last time.
Brains, yeah. So why
Yeah.
don't you go ahead and roll brains with that again, and we'll have it be another 5.
Okay. And that is another six. Six, two, and three. Okay, that's good.
Nice,
That's
nice. That's
good.
right on.
Because
Perfect.
his other two were a bit too low for
Yeah, no kidding.
a yes,
That could
a
have been
yes,
very
yeah, yes,
bad.
and a no but
Yeah,
and a
yeah,
yes.
yeah.
Okay, so that was that a six again. So that's just a regular. That's just a straight up
Regular
pass, right?
yes. Yeah, yeah, for
Okay.
sure. Yep. So you are using this blood red to paint this version of the sun and this daisies, and you're also kind of uh, making sunlight as well, but with the blood moon red it looks more dark and menacing than you would normally see a sun shine on any kind of painting picture or whatever. And your brain kind of focuses on this scene where from your angle you can see this uh red blood moon burning your burning your eyes and horrifyingly magnifying what's at ground level. All around you, bathed in red moonlight, are robed figures with arms spread out and chanting in tongues of something very I'm trying to think of the words. Like what I wrote down was not very good. So it's very uh God, I'm trying to think like guttural, like a very guttural and animalistic chant. Um that sounds like a cacophony of inhuman words mixed with animalistic anger, fear, and exhilaration.
Can we say that that starts to like meld into the music in the background? So like he's listening to just instrumental music, but then
Yeah, and
as
that's
like
filling.
as the strings swell, there's like
Yeah, exactly. And it's yeah, it's something that yeah, if somebody else were there, they wouldn't notice, but
They wouldn't
Grant
hear it.
notices. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Um, and printed on these purple robes on with the robe figures is the same symbol that I showed uh Jesse that Mac was drawing on his little napkin. Um, and as you try to move, you realize that you're strapped down to a slab of concrete, your arms and legs bound. You also see blood pouring from your wrists and ankles with that same uh, pentagramistic symbol carved into those same wrist and ankles. A dark shadow looms over you with an unnaturally wide smile on a person that you do not recognize as a serrated blade plunges into your chest. And you snap out of your revelry and what you see as far as what you've painted looks perfectly like what you've seen on this Daisy painting,
Yeah.
but you don't remember doing it.
um so obviously I'll shake my head and he's probably breathing deeply, looking at my hand, seeing if there's brush there, look around, look at the painting. No, I'm not going to look too close to the painting, but obviously it looks good. um he'll run over to the stereo. I'm trying to think. Yeah, he would have a stereo. He wouldn't have like I was going to say the A word for the smart speaker, but I don't want her to start talking. I'm assuming he would have like a proper hi-fi system or whatever. So he'll turn it off. And does he still hear the chanting now that the music's off? Or did when he snapped out of it, that all kind of went away?
Yeah, I'm gonna say when you stepped out of it,
It went away.
it yeah, it's not you can't hear it, but there's like an echo at the back of your
The
mind.
residual, yeah. Yeah, so
Yeah,
I'll
yeah,
turn off the
yeah.
music just to, and he'll look around a bit just to see, tilt his head to see if he can hear it. Um, and he'll walk back over slowly to the paint. And I'll look at my I'll look at my wrist after making sure checking myself, obviously checking my chest to see if I feel anything. Um, and obviously he's thrown by that, and that kind of really shakes him. And I guess we can decide if we want to roll on that. But before we roll on that, he'll go back and look more closely at the painting. He'll flip the jeweler, the little magnifying weird. I've seen him in movies before, right? We all know what they look like. It's
Mhm.
like the little gray rectangle thing with the big,
Yes.
and he'll be looking at the painting and he'll just kind of mumble to himself, fuck me, that looks pretty good. He's pretty proud of himself. So that snaps him out of the thinking about all that weird shit he just happened, right? Because he's focusing on what he's doing. But yeah, so he'll focus a bit more on it to see how good it is and kind of shake his head that he can't remember doing it. So then, Kurt, I don't know if we want to
Yeah,
give
if you
him a bit of a.
it feels like like you rolled a good roll for your
Okay.
painting, but what you've experienced, I say we roll a psyche and see where we
Okay.
go from there.
That's what I
Yeah.
figured, right? It's that
Yeah,
whole
yeah, yeah.
thing. And then he's also focusing back in on the painting, which we know isn't a good thing. And if he did a good job, I don't know if that weirdness he felt looking at the actual paintings transferring over. So I'm assuming they kind of bleed in
Yeah, so
together.
so like your good roll when you did the painting kind of offsets your freaking out of what's going on. So I was gonna make the roll a 6, but I think I'm gonna keep it at a 5 because those two kind of fought each other and kind of
Okay.
canceled each other out.
Yeah. So we're rolling a psyche. So John, I have a number for the psyche, and then we have a number for the bond, but the bond isn't that's affected later if the
Yeah,
psyche stuff
it's
goes wrong, right?
right. It's not spendable like it is in
Yeah, and
Delta
it
Green,
doesn't add
right?
on to it or anything.
Yeah,
Yeah, I just
yeah.
wanted
You're
to
you.
double. Yeah,
So Kurt has to determine a DL for the. I probably actually should have made a check at a 3 for uh a human. Well, a human attacks you with intent to do serious harm is a 3.
Mhm.
I don't know if it's like a 2 or a 3 for like intimidation
yeah.
Mhm.
ish kind of thing. I probably should have rolled as well.
Yeah.
Um, but this certainly calls for a roll because
Mhm.
that's not normal or natural.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So whatever you think that might be, I have the document open. So um, you discover evidence you acted violently during missing time would be 5. So he didn't act.
But there
Uh,
is missing time and some
there is
shit
missing
happened.
time. Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
You experience a non-threatening supernatural event, lost time, etc. would be a 4.
Okay.
So I don't know if you want to use that as a base. There's
Yeah,
nothing
let's
to
do it.
add, so it's like a 50-50.
Yeah, yeah, let's do it. We'll do a 4.
And so yeah, so the psyche, whatever number I have, that's how many I roll, and then like the bond stuff is if we that
Yeah,
that
that's
No,
to
so
help
follows
you
you
on after this.
recover later, the bond is,
Yeah.
right?
yeah, you're gonna roll your psyche pool.
Yeah.
So if you
Yeah.
have like 2, you're gonna roll 2 and you're just
Yeah,
trying to
two.
beat a 4. Yep.
Yep. A 4. A 4 and a 1.
All right.
Nice.
So that's a yes, but
Yes,
so
but on
you
my psyche.
succeed.
yeah.
Wait, there's oh shit, there's a chart for this. Hold on.
All right.
Bring out the shots.
Let me fuck, where is it? Let's see.
I should have it, but I don't. So I'm glad you do.
I have the
So hit exactly yes, but you're working hard to hold it together. Stunned for 1 frame is the current
Okay.
wording.
So do we
Um,
want to, like I said, so he's like, wow, I did a really good job. I did a really good job on that. Let me stare at it a bit more. And, maybe he's just like completely engrossed. And then, unless you have something, Kurt, I was just going to say, all of a sudden, a bit of what happened floods back in, maybe not the painting part of it, but the weird shit that he was feeling strapped down, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And he kind of freezes up staring at the painting. Unless there's something else you had in mind for that.
No, I like it. And I think that, now that you're towards the end of the painting and the only thing you have left is obsidian black to actually work into it, I think you it's like after you've like worked a long shift or you've had a really long argument with someone that you love. It's like you can tell you are ready for a very long break before you get to the next thing. Otherwise, you will not be able to do it well.
Okay.
yeah, maybe it costs some time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Time or sanity or something, you know what I mean?
Mhm.
Maybe it is if we feel like we have enough time to get it done, or if Maxwell calls and goes, "Yeah, we're up against it, dude. Crack on and get this shit done." Maybe then it bleeds over into the
Yeah, because I
affecting me more mentally kind of thing.
Yeah, so if I remember right, I think it was you guys were going to be doing it in 5 days. So I think today is day 3, if I'm not mistaken. Then if we fast forward a couple of days or whatever,
Mm.
well, 2 or 3, whatever. Anyway, um,
Because I imagine he spent the first day just fucking around with different canvases and like,
Getting
you know,
with
how's his paint
research,
working? Yeah, like
doing all the
blending
prep work.
colors to,
yeah,
you know, try to get a
yeah.
match like that kind of like not a wasted day, but like a
Prep
research
day.
day. Yeah.
Well,
Hmm.
okay, this is going to be a real base comparison, right? But when we bought this house and we got it painted, we had a guy we knew who was a painter when it was empty, and he's like, "Yeah, it'll take about 3 days." And 2 days of that was literally taping shit off, right? Because that's all the. And then
Yep.
when he went to paint, he's like, "Oh yeah, that's the easy part. It's taping everything off that takes a long time." So it's that
Mhm.
prep work, right? It's all the
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
mixing the colors, getting the references, charting it out. Like I said, we're blocking each section out that I was going to paint. So that probably does take quite a bit of time, other than just slapping the paint on the canvas kind of thing.
Hmm. Hmm. Yeah. So then do you take the rest of the day off, or do you like say, you know what? I'm just gonna take a little bit of or a little longer of a break and then I'm just gonna finish this thing so I'm
I,
done.
I think one of these things. So I'm feeling all right, right? I'm not
Yeah,
completely
you
ready.
succeeded. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, and
yeah.
I
You're just a
I know
little
this
shaken. You're not, it's not
exactly.
nothing detrimental.
That would affect actually my craft, right? So I'm not, and I'm not like a teenager in high school saying, "Oh, I'll just push it off and do it later," right? So I think he would, because something may go wrong. So I think Grant would work through. He wouldn't wait till the last minute, because then that's a rush job and it gets sloppy. And not on the supernatural side of it, right? If Grant's working and he gets some hand cramps and stuff like that, that's you work through that. You try to get through all that, and then if your body starts telling you to slow down, then because then you'll mess up. He would rather do a bit of that at the beginning to get it done than do a rush job at the end, right? Because then I'll just grab some stuff to rub on my hands or run them under hot and cold water and stuff like that. So he would keep working.
Okay. All right. So yeah, so we're gonna say you take, a little bit of a break, you kind of do the things that you would normally do, and then you realize that you have to get the obsidian black is the last thing you have to work on. And it's the swirls within the daisies themselves that you have to
Yeah.
make perfect, because if you don't, that's basically going to ruin the whole painting and it's not going to be a good forgery.
So he would keep working, but he would slow this down, right? So this process that he went through for the other pieces of it, he's probably going to go a bit slower, because we know this is the real fine detail stuff that he has to get. Well, he has to get it all right, but he has to get this right. So he'll keep working, but maybe it'll slow down a little bit. The progress he was making will slow down a little bit to make sure this gets done correctly.
Okay, perfect. So I'm going to have you roll another brains roll.
Okay.
This time I'm going to make it a little bit harder now. So it's going to be a 6 now. So if
Okay.
you have anything that you want to use, so that you're towards the end of your painting, if you have any of your like a good skill that you can use, you can add that to it if you like.
Yeah, so this would just be the forgery.
Hmm.
All right, let's go. 3, 3, and a 5.
Okay.
Uh-oh.
So that's going to be a no but, right?
Uh,
Yes.
Missed by one is a no,
That's
but yes.
missed by one. No but. Okay. All right. Okay. So you are mixing in, or you're mixing this obsidian black, and you are doing the swirls of the middle of the daisy in the paint before you even put it to the canvas. And it's going around and around and around and around. and you are trying to tell your brain to stop, and your brain won't stop. It just keeps going and going and going and going. And it's like the paint itself comes alive and moves up the paint, moves up your arm, moves over your body, and suffocates you. And just before you think you're going to die, you wake up. And you wake up in the same scene that you had seen before with the blood red paint. Except for this time, you wake up over the body that's on this concrete slab, bleeding profusely from multiple areas. The chants that are around you fuel you with raw power, power like you've never felt before. It not only fills you with power, but with hate, anger, darkness, the likes your body and your mind can barely fathom. Just as you feel like the darkness is going to tear you into a million pieces, you realize an inky blackness surrounds these robed figures that are around this body. These robed figures, instead of being frightened of what's around them, they smile these hideous, wide smiles under their hoods. But just as quickly as those smiles appear, they fade as the inky blackness enters the robed figures' mouths, ears, and eyes. Their screams as the blackness enters sounds like they're choking on gallons of molasses. Their gasping for air is giving you so much anxiety in your head that you feel claustrophobic, like it's happening to you. Then all of the robed figures start swaying violently from side to side, chanting again, as what seems to be their souls being ripped from their bodies. Your mood changes as you feel the evil that you embody, as you are sucking in the very essence of all of the robed figures around you. As you feel yourself gaining that power unlike anything you've ever felt, somewhere a door is broken down and a half a dozen people you don't recognize come into the room and start tackling these robed figures to the ground. You scream no in a voice that's not your own as your essence gets sucked into the symbol that is splayed on the ground around this figure or this person on the slab. Before you do, you see your reflection in the serrated blade. What stares back at you is a horrific visage, a withered, grotesque goat-like face with sallow eyes and sharp, pointy horns atop of its head. The sight terrorizes you as you scream an inhuman noise past razor-sharp, blood-stained teeth. And then as you come to this painting before you looks completely different from the one that you just painted. It looks like you painted the exact replica of this Daisy's painting. And the imperfections that you had that weren't quite right from the other colors because you just didn't want to get sucked into the life of this painting are completely different from what you have done. And again, it looks like you look at the screen, you look at the painting, you look at the screen, you look at the painting, and both things look the same.
I did it, but at what cost?
Yeah, exactly. So because of this, because of your failing to really get a grip on how you are actually painting this, I'm gonna have you do a psyche check, and it's going to be another 6.
All right.
Because you've seen something
Yeah.
otherworldly that you can't understand right now.
A 5 and a 3.
Okay.
So no but.
No but.
Oh, there's a chart for that.
Yeah, looks like the charts. Charts.
Let's see. Missed by 1, no but. The GM rolls on the shock table. 2d6.
Nice. All right. You got that shock table? I don't have it with me. I've got
Yeah.
everything else, but I don't have it. Yeah. So oh my God, my highest is a 6.
No, add them together.
Oh, add them together. That's a 9.
Running away from the threat. So he looks at the painting. Is like, no fucking way. Runs out of the house.
So that would make sense, right? So, holy shit, I did it. But that was really fucked up. And all that weirdness that I felt. Yeah, I think he would just be like, oh, it's fucking done. I got to get out of here. I got to get out of here. If you're saying it does, it does match up, then I think, yeah, he would just, would he throw? I was gonna say, would he throw his?
It could almost
brushes?
be like the backing up and like knocking into the table where you had all like the paint and brushes and everything set up, and like just causing that kind of chaos before you leave.
Yeah, let's do that because I think Grant would be pretty meticulous, right? He would make sure
Mhm.
everything's clean. Yeah, so he bumps into the table, the paint gets knocked over, the brushes fall out of his hand, and he's like, "Well, fuck it, I'll clean that up later." And he just gets out. He's got to get out. He goes out because when we say it was a barn, that was remodeled inside, and he just gets out into the outside, and starts taking deep breaths, and he's still moving away from the workshop, but yeah, he's got to get away. And hey, what time of day would we say this is?
Well, that depends on you. Like you said you've been kind of going at it. So it could be evening, it could be late night. I mean, I think it could
It
be
would
up to you.
make
I
more
don't think it
sense
would
if it
be
was
early.
dark. Yeah, it
Yeah.
would make. I think from the
Hmm.
vibe, it should be dark, right? Yes, he runs outside and it's dark, and he's breathing heavily, and we are in Florida, so it's supposed to be hot, but maybe
Hmm.
for some weirdness, all of a sudden he just feels really chill, right? He's really cold, and he
Right.
feels like, yeah, you're like, what the fuck is going on? It's supposed to be 80 degrees out. Why is it? And he's just getting away from his workshop and just trying to.
You've got that coat of sweat on you that suddenly gives you the chills.
Yeah,
Hmm.
exactly. Like, why is it freezing? I'm freezing.
Hmm.
I'm cold. Yeah, and he's gonna get away from his workshop, and he's like going towards his house.
Yep. Yep. And as you walk towards your house, you're kind of walking through the dark. And then like let's just say like you're heading towards your house or whatever, and like there's a porch light on, and you go like you're going into your house, and you don't see this, but the people watching at home, if this were a movie, would see you kind of walking back into your house, and as your right hand kind of sways when you're walking, you can see that every single fingertip of your hand are all black, and every single like whatever this pad of this finger is up
Yeah.
here as you walk into the house. And we'll call it there.
Grant doing God's work. Taking a hit for everybody.
Some gods, we don't know which god, but there is a god.
Yeah. It's not really important which one.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. Because all gods are good, right? That's what we've established in this stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, I probably.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're all
It'll be fine.
malevolent. Wait,
Mhm.
no, that's the
Okay.
wrong word. Benevolent.
Benevolent.
Well, in this case.
Oh, all right. Well, that was a good session. I really, really enjoyed that. We got a lot of good information out of everybody. We got a lot of good story from everybody, so that was awesome.
Hmm.
Cool.
John, what's happening at the Legends of Tabletop?
We're kind of back to playing some games. Jesse hates runners, I guess. So
Yeah,
schedule a
fuck you
game when he's
guys.
not even going
Runner
to be home.
sucks.
So
I'm done with it.
Uh,
I've been developing the system for 6 years. I'm done.
I mean, we're back to playing some live games. Our Deadlands game is back up. We're still not releasing that on the podcast feed yet. We want to build up some episodes in the queue, but our regular podcast feed's going strong. Cthulhu, obviously, we're playing. I'm working on that. So that's coming along. Actually, we probably spent what 40 minutes before we started playing talking about all the different stuff. So yeah, I'm pretty good with that. Yeah, that's
Nice.
it. Playing games. That's
Very cool.
what else is there to
Nice.
do?
Heck yeah. Games, always games. All right, Jesse, what have you been up to besides writing runners and rewriting runners and writing runners again?
I mean, that's it. I'm now writing a different version of runners. I'm doing the
Nice.
start like a it's supposed to be a simplified like tear down starter set version.
So how many pages is it? 2,000?
Yeah, right now it's about 40 something. So I
Nice,
need to
nice.
need to pare
Good
that down a
starter
little
book.
bit.
Good starter
Yeah,
book.
exactly, right. So yeah, I need to get that truncated down a little bit.
Nice.
But yeah, hopefully that'll be like a precursor thing that I can throw out that people can just take and it'll
Yeah.
let you run a few sessions at least.
Yeah. Have you heard the good word? And you hand them a 50-page document of
Right.
What about you, Kevin? Any recommendations? Anything you've been reading, watching lately? Anything fun playing?
I watched Widow's Bay. That was pretty good. I like that.
Oh, I've heard good things about that.
Yeah,
My
it was very
wife's
good.
watching that right now. She loves it.
The good thing about it is it's got a bit. It's like a horror show, but
Mm,
it's Stephen Roots in it, so there is very funny stuff
some
thrown into
funny
it
stuff, yeah.
that doesn't
Nice.
feel forced. It just flows from it, and it's very good. I really enjoyed it, so I recommend that.
Yeah, who's the guy from the Americans or whatever's in that? I really
Yeah,
like him. I can't
yeah,
think of his name.
obviously my wife always tells me that Americans in what was the Man in the High Castle that we've been
Mm.
chasing those highs for a long time. Matthew Reese is his name, I think.
Matthew Reese,
And
yeah, he's
and the
awesome.
funny thing is, he is Welsh. He's about as Welsh as you can be. So when you hear him
Yep.
talking his
Oh,
regular
no way.
accent,
Oh yeah.
but he is actually because there's a lot of deadpan humor in this, and I think he pulls it off. So the guy
hmm
from the Americans, but yeah, he's a really
Yeah,
good
yeah.
actor. So
Yeah, he's
I recommend that.
I will recommend he actually is Perry Mason, the reboot of Perry Mason
That's
on
right.
HBO.
Yeah, I forgot about that. Yeah.
So good. And they only did 2 seasons and they fucking canceled it. I was like, you are making a mistake. It is fucking phenomenal.
I got to put that back on the list because I think we did watch a couple episodes of that a long,
hmm
long time ago. So we'll have to go back to it because yeah, he's a very
Yeah,
good actor. But yeah,
he is
yeah,
very
Widow's
good.
Bay is very good. It's very funny.
Nice. Very cool. As far as the MFG cast, we've got we're getting towards the end of our Core Noir series that we're slowly getting to the end, and that's been fun to edit. Also got our D&D, not D&D game where our characters are thrust into other different people and they're trying to figure out what the heck's going on. And then all of our board game episodes that we've been talking about here, hopefully here coming up in the future, I would re-talk about Starving Artist, a game that from a
Nice.
long time ago that we actually helped kind of get funded or whatever, and just played that solo for the first time in a crap ton of time, and I really like that
I
game.
didn't know that
So
one could go solo.
yeah, yep. That's basically just you take 35 paintings and you just try to get as many as you can, get as many points as you can
Oh,
before you starve or before you run out of paintings.
nice.
So yeah, it's challenging. It's fun. So yeah,
Grant knows your
check
feeling.
anything. Yeah, yeah, no kidding, right? I can't wait till next time. All right. Until then, we'll let you go. And I'm Kurt, and thank you to everybody else for listening and watching, and we'll see you next time.